Hello, I'm Grant Hickman. I'm a senior product manager for governed security policies at GitLab, and I wanted to quickly walk through our plans for this epic to support additional filtering for scan result policies. So as we've been discussing with customers and also with internal stakeholders, we've come across a number of challenges when configuring more granular security policies. So we'll take a look at each of those challenges. The most common challenge is around the confusion of configuring status options. And I think the best way to demonstrate this is to look at how it works today. And so you can see that when configuring a scan result policy, we have a list of our statuses all within a single drop down. And it's a multi-select, so you can choose all states here as you're configuring a policy. However, this doesn't make sense in every case. For example, if you have a newly detected vulnerability, it's not possible for that vulnerability to have already been confirmed as valid or already to have been resolved. And so this is causing a lot of confusion for new users of security policy management. And one of the areas that we can make things a little bit more straightforward. Next, we have recently added, as a part of our vulnerability extraction tool, the false positive label, and we also are able to identify false positives for container dependency scanning through our third-party Resilient. So this is something that a lot of customers have asked for, internal stakeholders as well, to be able to reduce the noise and eliminate issues that can't really be addressed. Um, the next one is around the age of a vulnerability, and this is pretty common for customers. One example would be any government, U.S. federal government customers that are expected to address vulnerabilities within an expected time frame. So, for example, you might have a critical vulnerability that must be addressed immediately. A high severity vulnerability may need to be addressed within 30 days, and so on. And so customers would like to be able to create granular policies for each of those age filters and require an approval. So we would block any code merges before um, allowing anything of that's past a certain age through into production. And then lastly, if there is a fix available, that's something that we want to be able to surface up, and customers could further use to filter out noisy vulnerabilities. If there's not a fix available, it's harder to move past that MR or handle anything from an approval standpoint. So we'd want to prioritize vulnerabilities that have a fix available and require an approval, get those addressed. And this is something that we also have interest in internally to dog food this functionality. So yeah, let's move on to the proposal section. Um, when we are looking at our list of status options, we would like to break that down between new and previously existing. So let's find an example here in the design. So you'll see that will break it into two different drop downs. So it would be either new or previously existing. And then based on if it is new, we'd have the options for needs triage or dismissed. And for previously existing vulnerabilities, it could be any of the options. In terms of the age of the vulnerability, users will be able to break down a policy, as we talked about, into 30-day, 60-day, 180-day increments. And we have an example in our designs here. So we'll have a drop down, so you can choose less than or more than, specify a numeric value, and then choose your increment for day, week, month, or year. And then lastly, when it comes to attributes, this is how we'll address both false positives or identify if there's a fix already available. Note that this would only apply to container dependency scanning. And I think we have that broken down. Oh, it's actually over here. Yeah. So you would have an option for an operator to be an or and you can choose is or is not false positive or fix available. And so most commonly, you'd want to require an approval when it is not a false positive and there is a fix available. And lastly, I just wanted to mention that we do have a few error states to keep in mind, which you can find in the UX theme, and I've pulled out the ones that are relevant in the issue here. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out, and looking forward to seeing this into production.